The London Underground used to be a symbol of the capital's resilience, defiantly rolling on through the wartime blitz. Today, though, on those very same lines, you'd be lucky to get to a Saturday football fixture or your nan's house for a Sunday roast, because thanks to the nightmare of weekend engineering works, every journey now feels like an epic struggle. We're told there's no pain without gain and that the weekend closures are the price we have to pay for our network. But how come other cities are able to make similar improvements without such massive disruption? Mark Jordan went to investigate.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to scheduled engineering work,
Londoners love their weekends, but no matter what the party this year, getting to the ball in a silver tube carriage hasn't been easy.
It's really annoying trying to. It's a nightmare. Even on the normal weekend, you know, the tube closures are a nightmare.
The most famous underground map in the world, reduced to a maddening game of snakes and ladders.
The yellow, the purple, and the grey are closed.
It's a mess. I mean, it's really difficult to get around the city.
So I guess we could take the brown line?
As tourists practice their stiff upper lip, the tube that ran through 8 of its 11 lines partially or completely closed at weekends. Don't hold your breath if it makes you angry.
Being realistic, I think there will continue to be. People have to get used to checking before they travel every weekend into the future. This is a huge investment program. We're really just into the early phases of it. It's going to last another 10 years.
But are all the closures absolutely necessary? I'll be travelling to Paris, where they're automating their oldest line.
It's over 100 years old, and there won't be a single weekend line.
It takes a while to read through the long list of closures. The bottom line for shops cut off from customers is simpler.
Normally, in the morning time, we can take up to £500, and this morning we've taken less than 50. It's not enough to cover staff.
The nostalgia in her Swiss cottage shop isn't just for Beatles. Jubilee line has weekend closures for most of the year.
I don't think you'd go to any other country and they would just close whole lines down and disrupt this many people and this many businesses.
If running a small business is painful, imagine booking 20,000 people into London's O2 and then discovering your only tube line is shut yet again.
Sometimes we get very little notice in terms of the closures. I think the worst, and I kind of look back at it now as a comedy moment, was an hour and 15 minutes. So a call at 9:45 to say that 11 o'clock today we're about to announce some closures. That's just clearly crazy.
Time goes by so slow.
Share her name in lights with the act that's failed to show most weekends this year.
It's absolutely outrageous. Madonna's playing, and there's only one way to get here, and that is by the Jubilee line.
Of its own money, supplying a Dunkirk-style shuttle by boat.
I don't know how we're going to get home now.
I wonder what all the tourists, when they come to London, what they must think of us.
Disgusting. It's crazy.
The Jubilee line is a new line. Years.
Well, this is all quite eerie. It's the weekend, the Jubilee line is closed, and I've come down here to see exactly what they're up to.
Hello Neaston, this is train 700.
Not even 10 years old, this gleaming section of the Jubilee line is haunted by failure. It's already had 3 totally different signal systems. Completion date on the latest has been broken 3 times.
Andy, good run.
So above, they pack into replacement buses. Below, no digging or heavy labour, just 2 passengerless trains testing new software.
If I just open this cabinet and we have a look inside, it gives an idea of the complexity of what we've had to do. Thousands of wires have changed within the cabinet in order to
on the track.
Bob, you can drive 5 miles per hour now?
What we're trying to do here is deliver a significant benefit to the customer and to the passenger. And to do that, there is an element of delay and disruption that can happen to their journeys at weekends as a consequence.
Tubelines insist they need weekend closures. But having made a £73 million profit from the public-private partnership last year, why look for alternatives? That's the view of the man who ran London Underground until this spring. Speaking out after 6 years at the helm, he says this city is trapped in a 30-year contract that gives Tubelines a right to closures until 2033.
The whole contract assumes that the way to rebuild a railway is to close it. It was the fact that it became the norm to ask for more closures, or it's your fault I didn't perform. So the last thing they want to do is admit to a better way of doing things, because they're afraid it would look like, oh, all that money they spent on the past was too much, and therefore they can't claim that in the future.
His fear now is when Tubelines finish the Jubilee, they plan the same re-signalling on the Piccadilly.
The Piccadilly line on weekends is like the aorta of London. I find it hard to believe that we can do to the Piccadilly line what Londoners have had to put up with on the Jubilee line.
There, the similarity ends.
Line 1 is the busiest in Paris. It's undergoing a total restoration. It's over 100 years old. Soon there'll be completely automatic trains with no drivers. So how many weekend closures is...
This is the launch of the first new driverless train, so the signalling is at least as complicated as the Jubilees. It's a quantum leap, but Parisians refuse to let the line close.
The problem is that this line is very popular on the network, and the idea of closing it during long periods is totally unacceptable.
It's 3 a.m. No excuses here about misery today for a better tomorrow. All the work is done while the city sleeps. They've even kept the late weekend trains.
We only have available 3 hours 4 nights a week and 2 hours 2 nights a week.
You automate this line?
Absolutely. That means thousands of nights, thousands of employees working during each night for 3 years to be able to provide this new system.
And the line will never close?
And the line will never close during the entire project.
Instead, each station will close for just a single weekend to prepare for the new platform doors. The French want to share this engineering feat.
I invite to go to Paris and to observe what we are doing in Paris.
Having witnessed both systems, there was really only one question to ask in London.
Are you too proud to learn?
Absolutely not. The one thing I can absolutely say is we work very closely and learn an awful lot from the other major metros in the world.
But Tubelines disagree.
Could you not have done this by just working overnight?
No, it just wasn't the time.
Two sides charged with upgrading one capital city metro, while they argue rail historians are left to write up the largest number of closures since the tube began. One expert thinks we're all partly to blame.
I think this has all been a bit of a con trick. You know, and Londoners haven't complained enough. You know, I think it's really time that we started selling London Underground, the government, the mayor, whoever will listen. Enough is that we have it during the week.
Until then, wherever your weekend takes you in this great capital, remember, there may be no trains until Monday.